Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Profound. Today, I'm returning with another guest, and this is going to be another special episode where the guest gets to choose the topic. And today, my guest chose anxiety, and we're going to talk about what anxiety is and what does anxiety. Introduce yourself and tell me what anxiety means to you.
I'm a special guest today, and anxiety is a big part of, I feel like, my life. It's something that a lot of people deal with, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand it because it affects a lot of people so differently. And so, like, I have friends who, for example, will have anxiety and they think they understand like what it means. But for someone like me who I feel like experiences it on a very heavy level, where it affects my like day-to-day like intricate activities, it's a very different experience in life, and it definitely is something that I feel like people don't always understand.
And yeah, that's interesting. And thinking about that, like, what is that aspect of anxiety that no one really understands? Is it that subjective nature of just how you feel, or is there something that people are just like missing entirely?
It's definitely something. It's a very human thing. Like, they're not missing it entirely. It's like a gradient almost, where, like, pretend you're at the bar, for example, and you're just around a lot of people, you know, and like, I feel like a lot of people like who don't have anxiety will just, sit in that setting. But there's also a lot of people who are in that setting and they seem comfortable and they seem like, but there's some anxiety there. But there's also, with the high level of anxiety, I feel like you like that many people is sort of, it's the detriment to your view on life, where you just like kind of close yourself off and you just don't like see the world as how it should be. It's a very weird balance to figure out. It's like, especially with someone like I who deals with this, you got to figure out how to be at a bar with other people, but deal with the fact that you feel very closed off and very insecure in a way.
Yeah, and I know what you mean. I've in my life I've experienced people with anxiety, and I've learned a lot more about what anxiety truly is, because my initial introduction into anxiety was someone close to me experiencing it, and me not really taking it very seriously, and me being like, why is this person doing this? Like, I know they're hurting the people around you. Like why are you doing this? And then I eventually ran into another person who I was close with who had anxiety, and then I really experienced what it meant to have anxiety and what it does to your day-to-day life, how it changes your routine, your aspects, what you do. And it's pretty it's very impactful to someone's day-to-day life with someone who experiences this. And I was just wondering, what are some ways that you cope with the anxiety you feel, and what are some of the new things that you've been trying out?
I mean, there's a number of things I feel like, especially like being at this time in my life, I feel like, I don't know, I've definitely learned to sort of grope with a lot of what's going on. And being in like a high social environment, I feel like some things that very like much helped me personally, definitely like being able to go off on your own and sort of just get your own time to just reflect on things that have happened. Because I feel like a lot of anxiety, it happens so quickly, and so you just have to sort of give yourself some time to interpret what's going on, and I feel like that's how you can kind of sort of grow better from it, because as soon as you give yourself a little bit of time to just, understand that you have it's happening, and you have to like, you can't stop yourself from
Would you say it's like sort of like mindfulness in a way?
Yes, 100% so, yes, like meditation. Like stopping, like being able to sit there, like wake up in the morning and be like, all right, I'm gonna think this way. That's not gonna work. Waking up and being able to say, all right, I'm gonna try and approach things from this way, that's a lot better, I feel like. And so, I mean, personally, like I said, like being able to stop, like that feeling of anxiety before it happens takes a lot of practice and a lot of sort of figuring out your own ways of honestly like interpreting it and, you know, coping with it. And so like for me personally, like I said, that could happen by giving yourself a little bit of alone time to just sort of see how that feels, like, you know, like think about like the experiences you've had and how you can kind of grow from them and not how they are to your detriment. You know what I'm saying? Like, because anxiety it's a big like doom feeling where you're you know, in an environment and you just feel just like doom, like
you feel
just
pressured by
pressure, a lot of pressure, yeah. And so just being able to,
it just makes life harder.
yes, 100%. And like going on that, like self-esteem is a huge thing with anxiety, where it'll drag you down. Like you feel like not like who you should feel.
Like you're not worth like
exactly, yeah,
you're not worth like
self-worth,
respect.
yes,
like
exactly.
you kind of have like a self-contempt.
Exactly.
Like it's like,
and so
I'm not worth it because I think this about myself, and like I'm not worth like the love from the other people. Like it's sort of like kind of like gatekeeping and protecting
100%.
yourself from like a reflection of your like internal state.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah, 100%. It's just sort of like, you know, like being able to just like deal with that, and so I feel like personally, like I said, like it just literally just starts with taking like how you like feel and being able to like not like express it, but sort of like, you know, like be able to like deal with it, I guess, in your own ways. And like it's a very important thing. I feel like it's how it goes, honestly. Yeah.
So another question I can ask is like, has this anxiety always been here, or is it something that it's been since a kid? Did it spark at a certain point? Like what like is like the start of anxiety like, or like the start of like a strong anxiety?
Well, for me personally, it's always been a part of my life, and it's something that I've even talked to like, you know, my parents about, where it's something that they also dealt with. And so, you know, there's something to be said there. But also, anxiety can also be a little thing that you didn't think existed until a certain stage of your life, and you experience a certain event, and that sort of just sparks like something just in you, where it just cascades to like, you know, it just overcomes your life, because you're like, wow, I didn't realize I could think like this or feel like this, but it'll take over. And that's what's so interesting about anxiety, is that it will, if you don't figure out ways to deal with it, it will just like eat you alive. You know, it'll take over how you think. And so that's like, for someone who personally, since like adolescence, like, you know, like I developed just this anxious sort of these anxious tendencies that just were not healthy.
It's like if you fight it, like you're just gonna drown.
No, that's the worst part. Is the more you think about anxiety, the more it exists.
You can't like fight it on like a theoretical standpoint of like fighting, like sword fighting, like you're gonna go head to head against it. Because you have to look at anxiety a lot differently.
Well, I mean, if you're able to muster up the strength and the right mindset, you can definitely spar with this anxiety. But you also have to realize it's something that will also feed off your insecurities and your whatever. So as soon as you show any weakness, it will just continue to just eat at you. And so you really have to maybe not spar with it, but learn to live with it, because that's something that I've had anxiety since.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yes,
you can't fight it. You sort of have to like integrate it.
Oh yes.
And like use it as a tool, even if there's detriment behind it. Like try to find like the beneficial aspect of it. Also, like another question. So do you try to like positively reframe like situations, and like how does like trying to positively reframe affect your anxiety, or does it change how you think about stuff?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's very much, I will like, you know, have a night out and I'll come home and I'll like think about the even just like the little interactions, because like, you know, that's just how I sort of have been thinking, which is not, that's part of anxiety, is you just keep thinking about a lot of just the little things, like the little interactions you have, like what do they think, you know, like what do they think about me type shit. And so like, being able to sort of reframe how you like look at the world is a huge part of just like being able to like get hurdled over. Like it's not like, oh, you can like think a certain way immediately and you can, you know, be fine. It's you have to sort of like slowly think of different aspects of your life differently in certain ways, in certain lights, to sort of, like stab at the anxiety and get it to sort of just, dissipate slowly. And it may never, like we said, it's something you have to like sort of, like for me personally, you gotta learn to live with, it's always gonna be there. But you just have to like find the best ways to sort of look at it positively and, figure out ways to cope with it and live with it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as like someone who has anxiety, I'm sure you've dealt with like maybe psychiatrists or people trying to give you medicine. What is your experience with either ADHD medicine or anxiety medicine, whatever medicine you've experienced? How do you feel like this has affected you, or do you feel like it is something that is needed for most people with anxiety?
So for me, from a very young age, I showed signs of quote-unquote ADHD or quote-unquote anxiety. So some people might know this, but some people might not. It's very easily confused, like an anxiety deficit or disorder and ADHD or ADD. So I, at a very young age, showed signs of like having to, I was forgetting things, and I was just showing symptoms of ADHD. Like I remember in elementary school, I had to get like a list of things on my desk to remember to bring home, and stuff like that, and it's just like little things. In the middle school, I got like shitty ass grades. Like I was like failing like middle school classes, which is nuts. And that sort of sparked like, all right, I need to go see someone about this, right? And so I go and see them, and lo and behold, I have ADD or ADD impulsive or like something. I was diagnosed with something like that, and I was given like Adderall or and Vyvanse, and so that definitely helped. Like my grades were up, I was locked in, but I feel like it never truly sort of is able to fill the gap that is dealing with anxiety, because I will still experience it all the time. Like, I guess it'll help with my school and my grades, but there's something to be said about the rest of my like life and like how I view life, and like those meds do not help that in any aspect. And
like just the large spikes of dopamine that Adderall gives you is kind of adds like a depletion, and it almost even more grabbing at this like quick stimulation, like the ADHD impulsiveness. It kind of adds to that impulsiveness when you aren't on the medicine. It really breaks down your habits. It just kills it. You can't build a great lifestyle with it, because when you're not on it, you're crashing, and you can't look at life in a way that you need to. You need to grow. You sort of become like reliant.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely reliant. 100%.
There's people that take Adderall every day.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm someone who, like during the school year, I will take it too often. Not every day, but because I try my best not to, because I understand, how I feel on it and whatever. And listen, when you're on it, you're Superman. Like that's what the issue is. Like you can do whatever. That's why it's so dangerous, because it leads to just false conceptions, and like you just interpret life in like not a way that you need to grow and deal with, like I said, your anxiety, because it's always going to be there. You just got to learn to cope with it, and this is something that is not going to help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see the both sides of the coins when it comes to Adderall and prescribing it.
Like I said, people. I would not be at Maryland if it wasn't for being able to lock in with school, which Adderall's helped with, because like I said, like I was in middle school and I couldn't pass a class, so it's always something that comes to me a lot, and it's I don't know, it very much so will. It's there for a reason. Like it's there for a reason, but like I don't know. Yeah. So I see both sides of the coins there, and I mean Adderall itself is an amphetamine and being prescribed to millions of kids, and it's pretty insane. And thinking about it, I know this episode was interesting, and I'm glad my guest was here. And I enjoyed talking about anxiety and what it really means, and I hope you guys got something out of this. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I mean, it's good to talk about anxiety because we all feel it, and I hope you took something away from this. be more mindful. You know, who knows?